chosen in a world that does not understand you, surrounded by whispers of doubt, envy, and darkness, yet destined for a light so powerful it silences even the unseen forces. This is the journey of the chosen ones. Your faith, your patience, and your unwavering integrity are not just traits, they are divine weapons that make the heavens respond, and even Lucifer fall silent. Today, we will uncover 7 powerful lessons that reveal why Allah has singled you out, how your attitude commands respect in realms seen and unseen, and how every trial you face is shaping you into a force no darkness can touch. The chosen one carries a faith that is unshakable, unbending, and impervious to the noise, criticism, and scheming of the world, a faith so profound that it does not rely on recognition, validation, or approval from anyone other than Allah. This faith is not passive. It is a living, breathing force that shapes every thought, decision, and action, and it acts as an invisible shield against every attempt of doubt, manipulation, and malice directed at your soul. When the world tries to provoke fear, instill uncertainty, or distract you from your path, your faith transforms these attacks into mirrors that reflect the weakness of those who oppose you, exposing the futility of human schemes before divine destiny. Every whisper of envy, every plot against you, every insult or betrayal loses its power in the presence of a heart anchored in Allah's promise, because true faith is a force that resonates in the unseen, commanding the attention of both angels and jinn, and even the forces of darkness tremble in its light. Your belief becomes a language that the world cannot interpret, a presence that the arrogant cannot withstand, and a strength that does not need explanation. It is felt, recognized, and feared silently by all who sense its divine origin. The Qur'an reminds us, indeed, those who have believed and done righteous deeds, the most merciful will appoint for them affection, 19-96. And this affection manifests not through applause, accolades, or worldly power, but as an unseen authority that safeguards, elevates, and illuminates the chosen one in ways no mortal can oppose. In every trial you endure, every test you overcome, your faith grows stronger, louder, and more radiant, sending ripples across the seen and unseen worlds, commanding respect without uttering a word, and leaving even Lucifer himself silent in awe of the unwavering devotion, trust, and surrender that you embody. This is the power of the chosen one, a faith that does not just survive amidst chaos, but transforms the chaos itself into a stage upon which divine will is revealed, where patience becomes armor, obedience becomes a sword, and trust in Allah becomes the ultimate authority, silencing all opposition and illuminating the path for yourself and those whom Allah has destined to witness your rise. The chosen one understands that patience is not simply waiting. It is a deliberate, divine strategy, a sacred discipline that transforms adversity into elevation and hardship into preparation for greatness. Every trial, every delay, every moment of discomfort or betrayal is meticulously designed by Allah to sharpen your character, purify your intentions, and strengthen your resolve. And the true chosen one does not succumb to frustration, anger, or haste, for they know that impatience only fuels the schemes of the world and the whispers of darkness. Patience becomes a weapon that deflects the attacks of envy, dismantles the plans of those who wish to harm, and exposes the weakness of those who rely solely on worldly tactics, while simultaneously revealing the depth of your connection to the Most High. When others react impulsively, lash out, or compromise their integrity in moments of pressure, your composed restraint illuminates a power that cannot be measured by human standards, a power that resonates in the unseen realms, where angels record every act of perseverance and even the forces of Iblis pause, frustrated by their inability to influence or destabilize a soul guided by divine wisdom. The Quran repeatedly reminds us that patience is not passive, but an active form of worship. Indeed, Allah is with the patient, 2-153. And it is through this patience that the Chosen One turns trials into triumphs, obstacles into stepping stones, and oppression into an opportunity for spiritual ascension. Every delay that tests your faith, every hardship that challenges your integrity, every moment of injustice or betrayal is transformed into a battlefield where your patience becomes the sword that cuts through despair, the shield that protects your spirit, and the beacon that illuminates the path toward destiny, proving that the Chosen One does not merely endure the storms of life, but harnesses them to reveal divine wisdom, manifest unstoppable strength, and demonstrate to the world, and the unseen alike, that true power lies not in force or reaction, but in the quiet, unwavering, resolute patience of a soul chosen by Allah, whose timing is perfect, whose trials are purposeful, and whose victory is inevitable. The Chosen One carries a power that is invisible to the eyes of the world, a strength not measured by wealth, status, or influence, but by the unwavering integrity that governs every thought, every word, and every action. It is a divine armor that protects the soul from corruption, deceit, and the temptations of this fleeting world. In a society where compromise, hypocrisy, and manipulation are often rewarded, the Chosen One remains steadfast, refusing to bend, deceive, or follow the path of ease at the expense of truth, because they understand that true power is rooted in alignment with Allah's commands and the preservation of a heart that reflects sincerity, justice, and righteousness. This integrity is a light that cannot be dimmed, a force that exposes falsehood and hypocrisy wherever it exists, and a standard that commands respect even from those who wish to oppose or undermine it. The Quran declares, "And do not mix the truth with falsehood, or conceal the truth while you know it." 242. And it is precisely this unwavering commitment to truth that makes the Chosen One a force both feared and revered by the unseen and the seen alike. Your integrity transforms your presence into a sanctuary of trust, a beacon of justice, and a reflection of divine authority, leaving those who plot and scheme powerless, for no deception, no manipulation, and no worldly power can overcome the light of a soul aligned with Allah's will. Every challenge you face, every adversary who seeks to corrupt or intimidate you, and every trial that tests your resolve becomes a testament to the strength that comes from walking in absolute honesty and moral courage. And this is the power that silences whispers of doubt, disarms the arrogance of the corrupt, and even forces the forces of darkness into retreat, because the Chosen One's authority is rooted not in fear or dominance, but in unwavering integrity, divine guidance, and the absolute certainty that Allah's favor is the ultimate source of power, protection, and honor. In truth, the world may misunderstand you, envy you, or attempt to diminish your influence, but the Chosen One knows that their strength is eternal, their path unshakable, and their power undeniable, because when integrity governs the heart, it becomes a force so potent that it shapes destinies, commands respect without demand, and establishes a legacy that echoes through both the seen and unseen realms, leaving an imprint of divine authority that no darkness can ever erase. The Chosen One understands that true power is not always expressed in loud declarations, forceful confrontations, or visible displays of dominance, but in the profound, unwavering silence that emanates from a heart aligned with Allah's will, a silence so potent that it communicates more than words ever could, disarms adversaries, and exposes the intentions of those who seek to harm, deceive, or manipulate. In a world obsessed with noise, recognition, and constant validation, the chosen one chooses restraint, for they know that every impulsive reaction, every hastily spoken word, every response born from emotion rather than divine wisdom, not only gives energy to those plotting against them, but diminishes the purity and impact of their own spiritual authority. Silence becomes a weapon, a shield, and a mirror, reflecting not weakness but divine strength, demonstrating that control over one's tongue and restraint over one's emotions are marks of true mastery and a testament to a soul firmly rooted in faith. When faced with betrayal, gossip, or attempts at provocation, the chosen one does not rush to justify, retaliate, or explain, for they understand that Allah sees what is concealed, knows the truth of intentions, and will manifest justice in the perfect timing that only He controls. This silence, grounded in patience and trust, is a spiritual declaration that cannot be countered by deception, intimidation, or malice, for it carries within it the authority of divine support, the confidence of righteous intent, and the unshakable certainty that nothing occurs outside of Allah's decree. The Qur'an reminds us, "And be patient, for indeed, Allah does not allow the reward of the righteous to be lost." 11-115. And this patience manifests most profoundly in the chosen one's ability to observe, endure, and respond only when it is necessary and aligned with truth, turning every moment of quiet into a statement of power so profound that even the forces of darkness are forced into submission. While the world may interpret silence as weakness, the chosen one knows it is the exact opposite. It is a sign of mastery, a reflection of wisdom, and a declaration that no one can provoke or manipulate a soul that belongs entirely to Allah. In this silence, the whispers of envy are neutralized, the plots of adversaries crumble, and the arrogance of those who oppose divine will is humbled without a single word spoken. Every act of restraint becomes a strategic move, every unspoken truth a reflection of divine authority, and every moment of quiet a testament to faith that does not need validation or applause. The chosen one's silence is not passive. It is an active form of worship, a conscious alignment with divine wisdom, and a method through which the unseen and the seen recognize the weight of a soul protected and guided by Allah. It is in this profound quiet that the heart grows stronger, clarity emerges, and divine intervention unfolds, proving that power is not always in speech, but in the presence, patience, and unwavering trust in Allah, where even Lucifer himself, the deceiver, is forced into silence, unable to sway, undermine, or corrupt the soul whose strength is rooted in unseen obedience, unshakable faith, and divine purpose. The chosen one's silence teaches the world, both visible and invisible, that words are fleeting, actions are temporary, but a heart anchored in divine connection, speaking and acting in harmony with Allah's will, carries a resonance so mighty, so undeniable, that it commands respect, fear, and admiration without ever needing to announce itself, leaving a trail of awe, influence, and spiritual authority that no worldly noise or demonic whisper can ever erase or overshadow. The chosen one understands that faith without action is incomplete, that belief alone is not enough to move the unseen forces or leave an imprint upon the world, and that every choice, decision, and movement in life is an opportunity to manifest the divine wisdom that Allah has placed within their heart. For this reason, every act of a chosen one, no matter how small or unseen, carries immense significance, not only in the realms of the visible but in the unseen, where angels record, jinn observe, and even the forces of darkness pause in astonishment at the precision, sincerity, and purpose behind each deed. Unlike those who act out of desire for recognition, reward, or human praise, the Chosen One operates solely to please Allah, understanding that their actions are a reflection of their inner state, their sincerity, and the alignment of their heart with divine will, and therefore every step they take, every word they utter, and every decision they make is guided by an awareness that they are a vessel through which divine influence flows into the world. The Qur'an teaches, "So whoever does an atom's weight of good will see it," 99-7, and for the Chosen One, this principle is magnified exponentially because their actions are not random, nor are they merely habitual. They are deliberate, intentional, and infused with purpose, serving as conduits for Allah's mercy, guidance, and justice. When the world is engulfed in deception, injustice, and moral ambiguity, the Chosen One becomes a living example of divine order, an embodiment of righteousness, and a source of clarity for those lost in darkness. And this presence alone challenges the arrogance, envy, and schemes of those who oppose goodness, forcing even the most cunning adversaries to hesitate, reconsider, and, in many cases, retreat silently in the face of a force they cannot understand or overcome. Every interaction, every act of kindness, every word of truth, and every moment of restraint carries a ripple effect, influencing hearts, altering paths, and shaping destinies in ways that are invisible to the casual observer but evident to the divine eye. And even the forces of darkness, who rely on manipulation, deceit, and human weakness to achieve their goals, find themselves powerless against the subtle, strategic, and divinely guided actions of the Chosen One. It is this understanding that turns every ordinary moment into an extraordinary opportunity to reflect divine guidance. When you help those in need, you are reflecting Allah's mercy. When you speak truth to power, you are manifesting divine justice. When you endure hardship without complaint, you are embodying divine patience. And when you navigate complex situations with wisdom, humility, and sincerity, you are demonstrating a mastery of life that is not taught by the world, but bestowed by the Creator Himself. The Chosen One recognizes that their influence is not earned by force or aggression, nor by status, accolades, or applause, but by consistency, intention, and alignment with Allah's commands. And it is precisely this approach that makes their presence so profoundly disruptive to evil. The enemies of truth, the whisperers of envy, and even the deceiver himself, Lucifer, are left powerless, unable to manipulate, harm, or derail the path of one whose every action is a mirror of divine guidance. Moreover, this alignment is not a guarantee of ease. On the contrary, it often places the Chosen One in situations of challenge, scrutiny, and trial. For the divine path is not always the easiest, but it is always the most rewarding, the most transformative, and the most enduring. Each trial tests not only the ability to act rightly under pressure, but also the depth of intention, ensuring that the Chosen One's actions remain pure, untainted, and fully reflective of divine will, rather than human ego or societal expectation. Over time, the consistency, purity, and wisdom of these actions accumulate, creating a spiritual legacy that cannot be erased, a network of unseen influence that impacts generations, and a record of divine obedience that strengthens the soul while humbling those who rely on power without purpose. The Chosen One's life becomes a living sermon, a continuous reminder that guidance is not just taught through words or sermons, but through consistent, intentional, righteous action. It becomes evident that true strength is not merely in what is spoken or proclaimed, but in what is done when no one is watching, and that every small act, performed with sincerity and devotion, can shake the unseen realms, influence the visible world, and establish the Chosen One as a source of divine authority that even the forces of darkness cannot challenge. Thus, the Chosen One's actions are never ordinary, for they are infused with intention, guided by divine wisdom, and protected by Allah, turning even the simplest deeds into extraordinary manifestations of faith, patience, integrity, and mercy, proving that when one aligns entirely with the will of Allah, every movement becomes a tool of divine influence, every decision a reflection of eternal truth, and every life a testament to the unstoppable power of a soul chosen for greatness, leaving a mark so profound that both the world and the unseen realms recognize that the Chosen One is not merely living, but actively shaping destiny through every action performed in harmony with the Most High. The Chosen One walks a path that is uniquely theirs, carefully orchestrated by Allah, where every hardship, every delay, every betrayal, every moment of doubt, and every struggle is not a sign of abandonment, but a deliberate preparation for the triumph that is already written in the divine decree. And yet, this predestined victory is not a gift handed without effort. It is a victory that must be claimed through patience, perseverance, sincerity, and unshakable faith. For the journey itself is the proving ground, the forge that strengthens the soul, and the arena where the Chosen One's commitment to Allah's guidance is tested and refined. While the world measures success through status, wealth, and recognition, the Chosen One understands that true victory is spiritual, eternal, and aligned with divine wisdom, a victory that even the forces of darkness cannot interfere with, no matter how cunning their plots, how intense their opposition, or how relentless their schemes, because Allah's decree is supreme, and the timing of triumph is known only to Him. Every trial, no matter how severe, is a tool to elevate the Chosen One, to sharpen character, to purify intentions, and to remove distractions, attachments, and weaknesses that could compromise the strength and clarity required to fully receive and manifest the divinely appointed victory. The patience demanded in these trials, the perseverance required when the path seems blocked, the endurance needed when betrayal cuts deep, and the unwavering reliance on Allah when hope appears distant, all these elements are not obstacles but essential components of the preparation, ensuring that when victory arrives, it is complete, unshakable, and reflective of a soul that has endured and conquered in alignment with divine will. The Qur'an reminds us, indeed, with every difficulty comes ease, 94-6. And for the Chosen One, this is not simply a promise but a lived reality, a rhythm of life where hardship and ease are intertwined, and every step forward, no matter how small, brings them closer to the realization of Allah's preordained plan. The predestined victory is like a seed planted by Allah in the unseen, nurtured through every act of devotion, every sacrifice, every instance of patience, and every moment of righteous action. Yet it requires the Chosen One to water it with consistency, protect it from the storms of doubt and temptation, and allow it to grow through the challenges that test both heart and soul, proving that while the outcome is certain in Allah's knowledge, the effort, discipline, and endurance of the Chosen One are the means through which that victory is revealed in the physical and spiritual realms. This balance between predestination and personal effort is a profound wisdom of Allah, for it teaches the Chosen One humility, perseverance, and reliance on the Most High, while simultaneously demonstrating that divine decree does not negate responsibility, diligence, or action. Instead, it aligns them, magnifying the spiritual impact of every choice, every prayer, every act of righteousness, and every step taken in obedience to divine guidance. When opposition arises, whether from human adversaries, societal pressures, or the schemes of Iblis, the Chosen One does not panic, nor do they doubt their ultimate triumph, for their certainty is anchored in Allah's promise. Yet they continue to strive, fight, pray, and act with wisdom, strategy, and resilience, knowing that the manifestation of victory requires both divine decree and human effort working in perfect harmony. Every failure that is endured, every setback that is overcome, every moment of despair that is transformed into hope, and every trial that is met with patience and perseverance adds weight to the Chosen One's victory, ensuring that it is not only predestined but also earned, deserved, and fully appreciated. The unseen witnesses, angels recording deeds, jinn observing the balance of actions, and even the forces of darkness constrained by divine authority all recognize that this is not ordinary triumph, but a manifestation of divine will executed through a human vessel who has embraced the responsibilities of faith, action, and endurance. The Chosen One learns that the path to victory is never smooth or devoid of challenge, for each obstacle is designed to remove impurities of ego, attachment, and reliance on worldly measures of success, transforming the soul into a vessel capable of holding the fullness of divine reward, influence, and authority. And it is precisely through these trials, endured with patience, courage, integrity, and absolute trust in Allah, that the Chosen One earns a victory so powerful, so absolute, and so unmistakably aligned with divine will that it not only fulfills personal destiny, but also impacts the lives of countless others, illuminates hearts, and reshapes the unseen and visible realms with the authority of Allah's decree manifested through a faithful, persevering servant. In essence, the Chosen One's victory is a divine masterpiece, pre-written in the eternal knowledge of Allah, yet carefully cultivated through the sweat, prayers, and unwavering devotion of the one chosen to carry it. It is a triumph that silences doubt, humbles the arrogant, exposes deceit, and demonstrates to the world and the unseen alike that when Allah decides to elevate a soul, no force can prevent it, no power can obstruct it, and no delay can diminish its impact, for predestined victory, when earned with faith, patience, integrity, and reliance on the Most High, becomes not merely a personal achievement, but a timeless testament to the might, wisdom, and justice of Allah, leaving even the forces of darkness in awe and marking the Chosen One as an unstoppable, divinely guided beacon whose ultimate triumph was written before creation and perfected through their enduring, faithful, and righteous effort. The Chosen One carries a light within them that is neither earned by human approval nor dependent on recognition, a light so profound that it radiates through every word, every action, and every gesture, illuminating paths for those who are lost, guiding hearts that have been darkened by despair, and inspiring souls weighed down by trials to rise and seek Allah's mercy, guidance, and truth. This light is not a reflection of personal ambition or ego, but a divine manifestation, bestowed by Allah upon those whose hearts are pure, whose intentions are sincere, and whose faith is unwavering. It is a living proof that the Chosen One's very existence is intertwined with the divine plan, that their journey is not solitary, and that the impact of their presence extends far beyond themselves, reaching unseen realms, touching the lives of strangers, and transforming communities without ever demanding acknowledgement. When the Chosen One walks into a room, their presence shifts energy, inspires clarity, and exposes hidden truths. When they speak, even softly, their words resonate with wisdom, courage, and guidance that penetrate hearts more effectively than force or argument, because what they embody is a living reflection of divine alignment. an aura that emanates from the soul itself, reminding everyone around them that the divine is real, that faith is active, and that righteousness leaves an imprint on the world that cannot be erased by time, circumstance, or opposition. The Quran reminds us, "You are the best nation produced as an example for mankind. You enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong." 3-110. And this principle comes alive in the Chosen One, for their very existence commands attention, instills courage, and inspires action in ways that cannot be taught, fabricated, or forced. Even those who were once distant, misguided, or lost are drawn toward the clarity, strength, and purpose of the Chosen One, as if an invisible current guides them toward righteousness, mercy, and divine obedience. Their light also serves as a warning to those whose intentions are corrupt, whose hearts are filled with envy, malice, or arrogance. The Chosen One's mere presence exposes deceit, illuminates lies, and disrupts hidden schemes, leaving the forces of darkness disoriented and powerless. For a soul aligned with Allah becomes a force that cannot be contained, manipulated, or intimidated. Yet this illumination is not always obvious to the Chosen One themselves. Often, they do not realize the extent of the guidance and influence they provide, the inspiration they awaken, or the protection they extend simply by standing firm in faith, demonstrating integrity, and living according to Allah's guidance. Every smile, every act of patience, every act of mercy, every step taken in alignment with divine will becomes a beacon that others follow, a flame that ignites hope, and a living example that Allah's plan is always unfolding, that every hardship endured has purpose, and that obedience and sincerity yield results far greater than the eye can perceive. This presence transforms ordinary interactions into extraordinary opportunities for influence, turning moments of struggle into lessons of resilience, despair into hope, confusion into clarity, and weakness into strength, not by human design, but by divine orchestration, ensuring that the Chosen One's existence leaves a mark on hearts, communities, and generations that endures far beyond their physical presence. Even the unseen realms respond to this illumination. Angels are inspired to assist, guidance is facilitated, and the schemes of Iblis are thwarted, for no plan of darkness can prevail against the soul whose light is divinely protected, whose path is divinely guided, and whose purpose is divinely ordained. This is why the Chosen One's influence is never measured merely by worldly success, accolades, or recognition. It is measured by the transformation of hearts, the awakening of souls, and the ripple effect of divine guidance that extends far beyond the physical realm, touching the unseen in ways humans cannot comprehend. Their presence becomes a source of courage for the timid, clarity for the confused, and reassurance for those whose faith has wavered, reminding all who encounter it that the divine is real, that justice is inevitable, that patience is rewarded, and that Allah's plan is flawless in its timing and execution. Through their unwavering commitment to righteousness, faith, and divine obedience, the Chosen One teaches the world that true leadership is not about domination, fame, or control, but about being a living example of divine light and mercy, guiding, inspiring, and elevating others even when unrecognized, unappreciated, or opposed, proving that the most profound influence often occurs quietly, subtly, and without fanfare, leaving a legacy that resonates across time, space, and generations. The Chosen One's life becomes a mirror, reflecting Allah's wisdom, mercy, and power, and their every act, word, and breath becomes a means of drawing humanity closer to truth, righteousness, and the divine presence. Even the forces of darkness, Observing this light, recognize that it is beyond human opposition, impervious to worldly schemes, and unstoppable in its divine purpose. For a soul chosen and illuminated by Allah carries a presence that cannot be replicated, diminished, or silenced. Ultimately, the chosen one's illumination is a reminder to the world and the unseen alike that while darkness may exist, it can never overcome light. Deception may attempt to flourish, but truth will prevail. And the faithful, those chosen by Allah, are walking beacons whose very presence transforms hearts, reveals realities, and fulfills divine purpose, proving beyond doubt that when Allah places His light within a soul, nothing in heaven, earth, or the unseen can extinguish it, and through that light, the chosen one becomes a guiding star for humanity, a living testament to divine wisdom, and an unshakable proof that Allah's plan is perfect, His timing flawless, and His chosen servants unstoppable in their purpose to illuminate, guide, and elevate the world. Beloved viewers, these 7 lessons are not mere words, they are a reflection of the divine truth that the chosen ones walk a path beyond ordinary understanding, a path where faith, patience, integrity, silence, action, perseverance, and presence converge to create a life that is unstoppable, unshakable, and aligned with the will of Allah. Remember, your trials are shaping you, your silence speaks volumes, your actions carry divine guidance, and your very presence illuminates hearts and paths around you. The world may try to challenge you, the forces of darkness may plot against you, and even the whispers of envy may surround you. Yet when Allah has chosen a soul, nothing, no human, no demon, no circumstance can halt the divine plan. Stand firm, remain patient, act with integrity, trust in Allah's timing, and continue to shine your light. For every step you take, every trial you endure, and every act of faith moves you closer to the destiny that was written for you before creation. You are not alone. You are divinely guided, divinely protected, and divinely powerful. So rise, beloved servant of Allah, and let your life be the living proof that the chosen ones are unstoppable, their light undeniable, and their impact eternal. May Allah strengthen your heart, magnify your purpose, and elevate you in ways that leave even the heavens and the unseen in awe.